I'm excited to move into a time now of sharing together, sharing with each other that look back of what has lit us up, something that has lit us up in the past year and is lighting us up as we're in this current year and looking forward as well. And so we will kick it off with us teachers beginning to share a little bit, personally perhaps, and also as it relates to our work with the studio. So for myself, it was helpful to me to think about those pathways that I just mentioned, kind of orienting toward those pathways. One of the one of my one of the pathways that I hold most dear is the self-discovery pathway, and pretty much everything I teach, it the seed begins in my own life and what feels right to me, my learning, my exploration. And so with self-discovery, that is certainly true. And I've been so happy in this past year. I believe this was the year. It seems like it's been happening forever in a good way, but I think this was the first year to begin the Nourish and Flourish monthly sessions, where we have a little sampling of meditation, movement, and reflection, journaling, and it's been such a nice group that has developed around that monthly practice. And so I've been so happy about this, as well as the continuation of Flourish and Bloom Collective, which is our ongoing group that meets weekly, and it has become such a supportive, warm group and warm experience to be part of. For me personally, 2021, a lot of what I experienced was drawing closer and deepening connection to the natural world. And so that moves us into that other pathway of outdoors. And for me, I started the year with some body limitations and things to investigate. It was scary about my body. And then as soon as that kind of cleared up, then it was replaced by a wish to do whatever I could do with my body and get out there and enjoy having a body. And that led me to do a lot of hiking, which eventually led to my first backpacking trip. And I expected to love it, to be away from roads and all of that, and I did. I loved it so much. And then that brought me into a training that I attended, which is ended up with a certification of being a mindful outdoor guide. And so this is that moment now of bringing some of that deepening of connection to the natural world into the offerings that I'm excited to bring to the studio. And so what I would say I'm most excited about that's coming up soon is one piece is together with the regional Monterey Peninsula Regional Parks District, is these audio experiences where we'll be connected via a phone Zoom call, and everyone participating will be in their own outdoor environment, and I'll be leading us through connecting deeply with the natural world. That's a new format, kind of new format for me, the audio only, and I'm excited about it. I've experienced it very much as a participant in my training, and it was really powerful. So look out for those. The first one is January 22nd, and then there's one scheduled in February and March as well, and I hope it will continue. We'll see. And then the other piece is a course that's coming in February called Sit Spot, Cultivating Belonging. And this is related to one of the practices that has been so powerful for me especially in the latter part of the year when I was doing the training, which was just, I did it just now before this event, walk out my door and go to this bench that is right near my house and just sit there. Um, and I do that many mornings before or as the sun is coming up, just sit there, and it sounds not as powerful as it is to just sit there. I have begun to feel so much more connected to the place where I live and all the other beings, most notably birds, lots of different birds that come through that area. It has just been so rich to see what stays the same. These the trees, sometimes even patterns that I get to know. The crows always fly over at a certain time every morning, but then also what is totally different every morning, the quality of light, the clouds, the air temperature, and so much more. So I say that because I'm very excited to invite and support anyone who would like to start or deepen their own sit spot practice. It's easy, it's convenient, and I just am excited to share the power of that and have us experience that. um, I know there will be more coming, but those are just some of the things that I'm excited about that have me lit up in this year that we are in. I think I'm passing it to Marianne.
Thank you, Katie. And thank you for this invitation to explore what was lit up in 2021. And in my world, 2021 was more than lit up. It was a year of being on fire, where I was breathing in, just doing a lot of personal discovery and growth and taking courses and things like that. And then breathing out this offering into the community. So in the personal growth, in the breathing in service of Earth, I completed a certification in ecotherapy, which I'll bring into my psychotherapy psychotherapy practice and also into some of my offerings in through the studio, and also a certification in California natural history because wanted to do that because my relationship with Earth is so right brain oriented, where it's a feeling and a non-linear orientation. Like I step outside the door and my head just kind of goes, because I'm just heavy on this side. So I needed to like get a little linear, a little linguistic, learn the names of things. And so that's what had me pursue that, for me, very difficult course because it's not the field that I usually play in, but I feel more balanced now. And I also began a deep dive into climate psychology, of how people are responding with the changes that were happening, and how to support people through that response curve. There's an arc there that happens, and that then once we've moved through the emotional responses of the anxiety and the grief and the anger and the guilt, then we actually can bring consciousness and a steadiness to the way that we are responding and the actions that we're taking in our adaptation with climate change. So I did this through courses and study groups and some conferences. And then another piece of the personal growth was in service of human beings. I engaged in multiple courses and book study groups on equity, diversity, and racial justice, with a particular focus on the Black and the Indigenous experience in the past, historical and current experience in the United States, and that too will be showing up in some of my offerings in the community. And so in 2021, there was stepping into new territory for me in two arenas. One was an online conversation with Dwayne and Colleen Elgin. Dwayne is a world renowned author and visionary with regard to culture and climate. And Colleen, his wife, is a filmmaker that focuses on helping all beings. And so this offering actually was brought together the biggest attendance for any Monterey Bay Meditation Studio event so far. There were somewhere around 40 or 50 people on the Zoom call, and Rebecca, thank goodness, was a tremendous help in keeping that flowing. So there will be another one of those online conversations on March 25th of 2022 as the culmination of a book study group of Dwayne's most recent book, Choosing Earth. And also 2021 was the first offering in the Contemplative Cosmology Sitting with the Stars series. This is so cool. So it's and again, Rebecca, the tech hero, helped coordinate all of this. So people from wherever people are, similar to what Katie was referring to, an audio only on your phone Zoom call, and I, this is an offering with astronomer Stephen Martin, who is in the mountains of Western North Carolina, and myself, who's over here on the West Coast. And so, Steve, as the stars are setting in the East Coast, they're rising over here in the West Coast, and he guides us. He's a poet. He guides us through a journey of what's in the night sky. And then I'm like his backup singer, offering meditations that help us connect with our own qualities with the cosmos. And it was trippy. And so this is a series that will continue. We have another Sitting with the Stars in March, and then we're going to do a lunar eclipse where we're all watching the lunar eclipse on May 15th. So watch for those. They're just super cool. And here on the West Coast, we don't have to stay up until 10 o'clock at night to do this, whereas the East Coast folks have to stay up a little later. So, hang on a second. So after, with all of this personal growth and offering, after, being on fire last year and actually almost frying myself, this year I'm cooling it down to, as the movement indicated, to go deeper and then to support what's emerging. Yesterday, I spent the afternoon with members of the Amamutsan tribe, tending their garden that's up in San Juan Bautista. And as I was there and digging in the earth and greeting the earthworms that would show up, and just taking in the aroma of the soil, it was just like deep. It was quiet, and I could just deepen into connection with Earth. And so, living as we are in the midst of this climate change, and with COVID-19 playing, its variations that keep us dancing with uncertainty, I'm sensing that we have an opportunity that we've never had as a global community here on Earth. And we have the opportunity to imagine and to cultivate and to support a new way of being in relationship with ourselves and each other and the world. And so through deep listening and deep adaptation, deep ecology and deep community, individually and collectively, I sense that we have this crisis is also an opportunity if we're in relationship with it in a conscious way. And so I'll be beginning this journey of 2022 with the foundations of mindfulness, an introduction to mindfulness course that starts on January 20th, but this is this is be a little bit different from the intro to mindfulness, so of course that I've offered in the past, in that it is really focused on finding that way of being in the eye of the hurricane with in mindful relationship with all that's going on around us. So I'll just end with a quote from Thomas Berry in his book, The Great Work. The historical mission of our times is to reinvent the human at the species level with critical reflection, with community of life systems in a time developmental context by means of story and shared dream experience. So come on, dive in and emerge together. Jen, would you
Thanks.
share?
Thanks, Marianne. So what lit me up in 2021? First, fiction reading. Somehow I lost connection to reading fiction somewhere along the way, and I rediscovered it. And I love fiction books. So I'm having a blast reading fiction, and don't plan on stopping anytime soon. That was really fun to get back into. And I also, 2021 for me was was about balance. I tend to always be thinking about what my goals are, what my next thing is, how I'm going to grow and expand and all that. And it just felt good to let go of that and find just being okay, doing my thing, maintaining what I've founded for myself, both personally and professionally. So that was really, it was nice. My offerings coming into 2022, I'm really excited about because I've found over the past 2 years, kind of getting into a place of short-term, like how to get through kind of thing, and want to invite dreaming again, want to invite starting to think big picture, starting to think about as far as your creativity can go, what this world could be, what your world could be. So my offerings in this beginning of the new year really reflect that, and they kind of build on one another. So my first 2 offerings are actually freebies, and they're both visualization meditations. Their visualization meditation is based on the premise that really letting yourself meditate on something that you want to bring into your life is an active step in creating it, and it teaches your body and your mind to orient towards that vision. If you can't imagine it, if you can't even let it exist in your mind, how do you expect it to exist in the world of the physical realm? So visualization meditation is based on that premise. So I'm offering that twice. One is coming up soon in January 19th, and the other is the end of January 28th. And then building off of that concept, I'm offering a destiny retrieval class. This is based on the shamanic premise that time isn't linear, and so we can grab a snapshot of our future, our destiny that we want, and get connected with it and get clarity on it, and again use that to help us move into the future that was meant for our highest potential. So that course is taking place, or it's one day. It's taking place on February 4th, and then building off of that, so the concepts of visualization, the concepts of destiny retrieval, both are part of this course that I'm offering starting in mid-February around manifestation. So manifestation is the idea that you can actively create the reality that you want to exist in. It became really, really popular with things like The Secret. And if you've talked about the law of attraction or heard of the law of attraction, that's a way of manifesting things. And so I approach it based on my teachings with Andean healers. And I kind of go through also some of the misconceptions that can come with the act of manifesting things in your world. And so that course it's on Saturday, and it's actually an in-person course, and it starts on February 12th. All of these are on the website. And again, they build up on one another. You don't have to take all of them, but if you want like a little taste of me and of my style and my approach and of this kind of theme, feel free to join any one of those to just kind of get a sense for what the course on manifestation will be like. And then additionally, I'm excited that I'm continuing my monthly shamanic journey meditations. So some of you may or may not know that for I think 2 years now, this might be the 3rd year that I do monthly shamanic journey meditations. And shamanic journeying is based on an indigenous practice of honoring that there's a world beyond the physical world that we usually honor as our reality. And journeying is the practice of connecting in with that invisible energetic world for the sake of gaining a larger perspective of reality, a more like an enhanced version of wisdom and understanding that can come when we have this connection to the energetic world. And so I do that the first Sunday of every month. It's a new time this year, starting at 10 o'clock. So the next one's at the beginning of February, and then there'll be another one at the beginning of March too. It's a monthly offering, and typically the first Sunday of every month that happens, and that's virtual. So yeah, I'm excited about all of that.